Hello and welcome. It is Sunday. That's crazy. What the fuck? Today is Sunday. I am streaming on a Sunday. That is really unusual. Let me tell you what happened. um, first of all, hi, I'm Aries. Today we're reading the Disabled Tyrant's Beloved Pet Fish after I tell you the story about what happened on Friday. It was all my fault. um, so I decided it was 98 degrees Fahrenheit, I believe, was what we call it in America. 98 degrees, so hot outside. I thought it was a good idea to go skating. Ice skating. Obviously not in the heat. But just getting to the rink and back was so disgusting and overstimulating for me. I have AC in my car. The car runs, the AC is fine. It's beautiful and I love it. It still was not enough to fight off the heat, like bearing down on the car. So that was fun. And then I got home and I got overstimulated and I felt like wanting to barf my brains out because the heat was just too much. Also, even if I didn't go out, it would probably have been the same situation. Anyway, that's why we're here on Sunday instead of Friday. I will be still streaming tomorrow night. Same time as now, 6 p.m. PDT. Reading. That's not changed. Hopefully. Really hopefully. Actually, no, I really hope it's not changing. If it does change, that means I am in excruciating pain. Just so you know. Anyway, today we are on chapter 64 called Fishy Boyfriend. Fishy fucking Boyfriend. I love this book. I was so sad I couldn't read on Friday. I love it. I love it so much. They're so stupid and I love them. We usually take a break about halfway through. I will have to, get up and feed the dogs at 7 or around then. At a good stopping point, I guess. And whatnot, and then we'll continue. And yeah, we usually read for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. I don't really go by pages or anything. I just go by vibes. But yeah, we should be able to get through about 4 chapters. So far that has been very doable. Oh no. Okay. Okay, are we ready? Okay, are we ready? Are we ready, guys? Oh boy, chapter 64. Fishy Boyfriend. Sorry, let me just get slightly a bit more situated. Alright. Ugh. My nose is a little bit runny, but we should be okay. I thought about it, Liu said in a small voice, his face red. I forgot where we were. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Last we left off was, let's lay down some rules, Your Highness. Okay, just got that. Yep, okay, that's in my brain now. I thought about it, Liu said in a small voice, his face red. I like Your Highness too. I want to be with you. But can you agree to a few things? If you can, then we can try to be together. Although he had times when he was lost or difficult to deal with, or shy when he liked someone, being forthcoming was one of his virtues. And, well, the transformation was forcing his hand. He only had 2 hours a day, so he couldn't afford to hesitate. If he wanted something, he had to mention it now. Once they'd come to an agreement, they could start dating. With an exclamation mark. I'm gonna cry. Liu thought of the way Prince Jing took care of him and felt unusually confident. He held the page to write. Whoa, I'm too excited already. We're on the first page. I lost it. I lost it. Okay, he held the page of writing up high, so Prince Jing wouldn't miss a single word. He edited this agreement many times. Prince Jing taught him how to write before, so this time, Liu tried not to make any mistakes and keep the paper clean. Even though he was using this to negotiate, he still wrote it very carefully and sincerely. Meanwhile, hearing that Liu liked him back, Prince Jing's heart was blooming furiously. I can't deal with them. I can't. Although what Xiao Yu wanted wasn't exactly what he wanted, that didn't matter. Never mind a few things, he'd agree to dozens or even hundreds of things. Prince Jing reached out and grabbed Liu's hand. He carefully rubbed away the ink Liu had gotten. Oh god, I can't do this. I'm too giggly. He carefully rubbed away the ink Liu had accidentally gotten on his fingers. This small gesture made Liu's heart warm. He tickled Prince Jing's palm with the fingers Prince Jing had just rubbed clean. I hate them. They are so disgusting. Gathering his courage, Liu held Prince Jing's hand and looked up at him, smiling. Prince Jing was trying to confirm over and over that Xiao Yu wouldn't run away again in a fit of anger. He'd felt it in the carriage, but now that they'd said everything out loud, he still felt like this didn't seem quite real. Was he also afraid of losing him? Prince Jing burst into quiet laughter, patted Liu's hand, and accepted the paper. The first line that he saw was, "Do not ask Liu to stay the night." He rubbed his forehead. Xiao Yu accepted him, but still wouldn't absorb his essence? He was fine, but would it have an impact on Xiao Yu? All the ancient cultivation books spoke of being diligent, but Xiao Yu really only worked 3 out of 5 days. I don't understand that. Is that like a phrase? A phrase? Is that oh, my book! My book! My book! My book. I forgot what button I used for my book. No, wrong one. No. Okay, there we go. Liu was afraid of Prince Jing thinking he was putting up a front and hurried to explain. It's not that we can't. We just have to wait for an appropriate time. He suddenly realized what was coming out of his mouth and immediately shut up. He blinked, his face red, trying to play dumb. Even so, Prince Jing immediately understood it wasn't completely impossible. Either way, I said no, so no, said Liu hastily. If your highness doesn't agree, then let's not be together. When he heard Liu say, let's, his heart swayed. I hate him! He quickly snatched the paper back. It was too bad Liu couldn't absorb his essence, but he had Xiao Yu, and that was enough. Oh my god. Liu made a triumphant gesture when he wasn't looking. Everyone said whining to your boyfriend was very effective. Clearly, it was a pretty good trick. Prince Jing agreed to the first condition. Continuing on to the second one, do not ask Liu where he's going. This one Prince Jing understood immediately. Xiao Yu only seemed to be able to maintain his human form for about 2 hours. Every time he had to explain why he disappeared, watching him fumble for all sorts of excuses, each one faker than the last, Prince Jing struggled not to expose him. Xiao Yu was probably also tired of thinking up all of those excuses as well. So he didn't want him to ask. It took too many brain cells, and keeping track of the lies wasn't easy. Yeah, we all know Xiao Yu only has like 2 brain cells. Prince Jing nodded, agreeing to this one too. Finally, the last condition. Do not get mad at Liu. Prince Jing chuckled. Xiao Yu was too worried. When had he ever gotten mad at Xiao Yu? Oh my god. Sorry, runny nose. Runny nose, even though I took my allergy meds. Ooh, yay! It might be my brain fluids leaking out. Prince Jing agreed to all of them. One more, Liu said shyly. Your Highness said you didn't have any concubines before. Can you please maintain that? In the book, Prince Jing wasn't someone who would like multiple people at once, but the original plotline was already a mess, and Chu Yanyu turned out to be secretly quite sinister. What if Prince Jing turned out to be unfaithful? Although it wasn't likely, Liu didn't want any accidents to happen, so he steeled himself. If Prince Jing turned into a pig, then he'd break up with him. He hadn't written this condition down because Prince Jing had already said it himself and even engraved it onto the walls of the manor. Liu thought it was unnecessary to write it again and take up space in his agreement, so really he'd taken advantage of Prince Jing a little bit. But Prince Jing nodded without any hesitation. Then, Your Highness, you have to remember them, Liu said. Giggling. He's giggling. I'm done. I'm so far gone. Can you memorize them? Prince Jing nodded again. He handed the paper back to Liu, went to the desk, and got out a paper and a brush. Liu followed him over, rolled up his sleeves, and prepared to grind some ink for him. Prince Jing glanced up at Liu. Considering Zhao Yu's comprehension skills, he smiled and wrote down a silly little poem. Your decision to stay the night. Leave whenever you delight. With you, I will never fight. I'll love you. I'll love only you in this life. Beautiful. Amazing. Fantastic. Phenomenal. Liu froze and immediately threw the inkstick to the side. His Highness was amazing, especially that last line. Now that he'd committed them all to memory, the next step was to kiss, hug, and shower with affection, right? I'm gonna kill myself. The gays are gaying too hard. Oh no. Oh no. Liu threw himself at Prince Jing. Prince Jing was surprised, but still managed to catch Liu. With eyes full of tenderness, their lips slowly met. He wanted to put all of their gentleness but also all of their passion into one kiss and melt into each other until they were one. Prince Jing felt something lick the seam of his lips, and when he opened his eyes, Xiao Yu was smiling mischievously at him. Don't worry, princess. Oh no. Does it still hurt? Liu touched his lips. Because of a misunderstanding, Liu had recently bitten Prince Jing's tongue. He wanted to make it up to him now. To be honest, doing that felt very exciting. The curious fish wanted to try. It was his boyfriend anyway. So kissing with tongue was very normal. You know what's not normal? Me. I am not normal. You know, actually, no, I lied. I'm so normal. This is fine. I'm perfectly fine. Realizing what he wanted, Prince Jing picked Liu up excitedly. Holy crap, I just wanted to French kiss. But what do you want to do? Liu's heart was thumping in his chest, afraid Prince Jing was about to... Sorry, I can't help but like memeify all of this in my brain. He's so holy crap. Holy crap. I need a minute. I know we're right in the thick of it, but I just need a minute after every sentence, okay? We might not get through 4 chapters today. With everything that's going on, I don't know. I don't know. I'm fine. Leo's heart was thumping in his chest, afraid Prince Jing was about to break the rules they'd only just set. But instead, after holding him tightly for a while, Prince Jing put him down gently on the desk, then leaned in and kissed him carefully. Leo kissed him back enthusiastically. As he kissed him, he realized Prince Jing was much taller than him. You're just realizing this? You're just realizing this. Usually, when he kissed Prince Jing, he had to tilt his head up, which was slightly uncomfortable. Now that he was on the desk, they were eye to eye. As a result, kissing was also a lot easier. It's fine. Prince Jing wanted him to relax. Liu suddenly realized that although Prince Jing couldn't speak, and he constantly had to guess what his intentions were, sometimes even guessing wrong, the way Prince Jing doted on him never changed. Liu felt both moved and warm. He held onto Prince Jing's neck tightly, happily pressing his lips into the other man's. Very quickly, he was defeated by the warmth. As Liu lashed onto Prince Jing like a koala, Prince Jing handed him something wrapped in bright yellow cloth. Liu opened it and took a glance. It was the Emperor's orders for Prince Jing to go to the Ministry of Works for a job. Liu was shocked. Oh, Liu was a little shocked. This didn't happen in the original book. Later, when Prince Jing and the Sixth Prince were fighting, he was supposed to enter the court through the Ministry of Works, but right now the Sixth Prince was still recovering from his injuries. As far as he could tell, Prince Jing didn't seem to have any intentions of going for the throne yet. Liu realized this might just be the Emperor having great expectations for Prince Jing. The prince of this world would not face too many disasters. He tried to help him. This is a good thing. Congratulations, Your Highness, Liu said, smiling, but he had no idea why Prince Jing was showing him the edict. Prince Jing was actually unhappy that he'd only just started a relationship with Xiao Yu and was now conscripted to go to work. I can't spend a lot of time with you anymore, he thought, but he was unable to say it. Liu thought it over and realized what he meant. He smiled. Since Your Highness has a job now, you should do your best. I won't go anywhere. I'll wait for you here in the manor. When you get your monthly salary, can you buy me a present? Sorry, I just had to bite my hand a little bit. Leo was full of words of encouragement, imagining himself as a stay-at-home boyfriend, walking his boyfriend to work every day and cheering him on. After all, Prince Jing had a lot of serious business to attend to on top of being in a relationship. Prince Jing had to go work at the Ministry of Works now. Later on, when he ascended to the throne, he'd have to worry about all sorts of important national matters. Unlike him, apart from completing quests, all he had to do was swim around in leisure as a pet fish. It was like he'd entered retirement early, but he was only 18. Liu rubbed his nose. Maybe he should do his best and try to make his boyfriend a heart bento. Please don't. I know. I know you have good intentions, but they might turn out to be not so good. It could be disastrous. With Xiao Yu's encouragement, Prince Jing gathered himself and started to report to the Ministry of Works on time every morning. The Ministry of Works was the least important ministry out of the 6, responsible for water conservation and civil engineering. Taking into account the fact that Prince Jing would have a hard time communicating, the Emperor gave him the job of repairing Zhongshui Palace after it had been damaged in the fire. The blueprint for Zhongshui Palace was in storage. He just had to fix it according to the plans. It would be difficult to mess up. Prince Jing was a prince, and he would be able to command authority with his personality, but the Emperor still found him someone to help but the emperor still found him someone to help him with the task, afraid that he would be overwhelmed with his first job. Deputy Minister Jang Jung. I'm fine. I just have to. I have to. The wheels, the cogs need to turn. Deputy Minister Zheng Jing was very capable. He had already received the emperor's orders ahead of time and was ready to assist Prince Jing at any time. By doing this, the emperor was making it easy for Prince Jing. After Prince Jing arrived at the Ministry of Works, the first thing he did was put down a huge pack he was carrying. Deputy Minister... Oh my god, it's not gonna come out easy. Zheng Jing came to bow at him with a smile. He'd heard a lot about Prince Jing and wanted to have a good relationship with him. Your Highness, he asked curiously, what did you bring? Oh boy. Wang Ji usually followed Prince Jing, but he wasn't supposed to be in places of business, so Prince Jing picked up the brush on the table and wrote lunch. He did it, and he did it in the next page. Zheng Jing laughed awkwardly. Hey, I have a question. Why is this one spaced and the other ones have not been spaced? Huh? His name isn't spaced. Zheng... It's a Z-H-E-N-G. That's what... It's just a lot of things that I have to wrap my brain around. Zheng Jing laughed awkwardly. So, it was the prince's lunch. The pack was larger than a basin. What kind of lunch did it hold? But seeing Prince Jing's impassive expression, Zheng Jing could tell his personality was a little aloof and cold, so he probably didn't want him to pry anymore. And so, despite all his questions, he didn't ask anything more. Oh boy. After Prince Jing finished writing the words lunch, he paused, but Zheng Jing didn't ask any further. Prince Jing was a little dissatisfied, so he carefully wrote in slightly larger words under lunch, "My boyfriend made it." You can hear my eyes rolling, can't you? Oh my gosh. With great difficulty, Zheng Jing asked, "Boyfriend?" Prince Jing nodded. Xiao Yu had specifically taught him this word from his home. Xiao Yu said when two people liked each other the way they did, it was called dating. Xiao Yu was his boyfriend, and he was also Xiao Yu's boyfriend. Prince Jing liked this form of address. He guessed that the carp spirit must be from some sort of immortal mountain, and this must mean he now saw him as family. Prince Jing felt very happy. Zheng Jing thought about it for a while, but still didn't know what a boyfriend was supposed to be, so he could only ask Prince Jing, "Your Highness, what does boyfriend mean?" Prince Jing narrowed his eyes. There was no way he'd let Zheng Jing know about the Carp Spirit's mountain, but he had an alternative explanation. It was still Xiao Yu either way. Prince Jing wrote, "My future consort." Zheng Jing's expression kept changing. Prince Jing already had a consort? How come he didn't know? Future consort? Well, that was easier to understand than boyfriend. How should he respond? Well, congratulations, Your Highness, he stammered. Prince Jing finally nodded, satisfied. Zheng Jing secretly wiped away sweat. Then he saw Prince Jing take something else, of course. Of course, I was expecting it okay. Then he saw Prince Jing take something else out of his large sleeves and set it down on the table. It was a clear bottle, and inside was a silver fish with flecks of gold. It was swimming around in the bottle happily. Zheng Jing thought his eyes were playing tricks on him. Swallowing, he asked, hesitating, "Your Highness, did you bring a koi with you?" Prince Jing wrote proudly, "My pet fish. What? Why would anyone bring a fish to work? Zhongjing couldn't understand. Once he'd seen Prince Jing personally feeding the fish a piece of peach blossom pastry from a white jade box, Zhongjing shut up completely. Liu, who was currently munching on a pastry, yelled in his head, I really fell for this asshole's tricks. Walking my boyfriend to work? Why did this jerk have to bring his fish to work too? What happened to being a stay-at-home boyfriend? Now, in his human form, he had to date Prince Jing and prepare lunch for him, and in his fish form, he had to go to work with him. Sob, sob, sob. He wanted to start his early retirement where he was always being taken care of. And that's the end of the chapter. Because of course it is. You want to guess what the next chapter is called? Do you want to guess? You should guess. It's a good one. It is the title of the stream, but more. Touching fish. Oh, well, I guess it's not the title, but it is Touching Fish While on the Clock. They are so dumpster fire. I can't deal with them. Not like this whole time I've been like, oh my god, just get together. But now that they're together, I'm like, it's too sweet. I can't deal with it. I can't. There was no rush on fixing Zhongshui Palace. Prince Jing first followed Jing around and familiarized himself with the rules and regulations of the Ministry of Works. He needed to reference Zhongshui Palace's blueprint, so Jing already had someone So Jing already had someone find it and bring it to Prince Jing. Prince Jing spread open the blueprint, and Zheng Jing prepared himself to answer questions at any moment. After all, Prince Jing had never been in charge of anything similar. When Zheng Jing had first come to the Ministry of Works, he also didn't understand anything. He's so sweet. What a nice guy. Ugh. But Prince Jing didn't ask him anything. He just focused on the blueprint and occasionally noted something down on the side. From Zheng Jing's angle, he couldn't see what Prince Jing was writing, but he noticed that when Prince Jing opened the blueprint, the silver koi inside the bottle had also swum closer, pressing against the side closest to Prince Jing's hand. From this angle, it looked like the koi... From this angle, it looked like the koi had stopped right in front of Prince Jing's hand. Zheng Jing almost felt like the koi was looking at the blueprints with Prince Jing. Why would he think that? It's not like the koi was a spirit. How did he catch on so fast? It took Prince Jing so long to catch on. The little carp who'd been mistaken as a spirit, though, thought, the little carp who'd been mistaken as a spirit thought, ah, here it is. I want to see what my boyfriend looks like when he's working. Liu had seen Prince Jing read, write, and paint, but he'd never seen Prince Jing work. Liu was also curious about what ancient blueprints looked like, so he kept trying to inch forward. Prince Jing knew Xiao Yu was getting interested, and was afraid the fish had forgotten he was in a bottle and might break it again, so he silently moved the blueprint toward the fish, a little, and continued to study it, brows knitted together. My boyfriend is so hot when he's concentrating. Liu appreciated Prince Jing's handsome profile for a while, blew him a kiss from afar, then stretched out his neck to look at the blueprint. He was a little excited. What if he picked up on something and could help Prince Jing? There were many little houses drawn on the blueprint. Liu couldn't tell how they were different from each other. Many of them also had notes underneath. The text was smaller than a fish's eye, which made Liu's head hurt. As it turned out, there was no what if. The blueprint would learn who to read him. What is going on? What is going on? Oh, okay. As it turned out, there was no what if. The blueprint would learn to read him before he was going to figure this out. Liu sighed. Well, that was that. When Prince Jing got to the key parts, he suddenly seemed to understand something. Looking back, he saw the fish lying at the edge of the bottle, also staring at the blueprint. Xiaoyu likes to look at blueprints? But in the next second, the fish who liked to look at blueprints sank to the bottom of the bottle. Prince Jing chuckled to himself. Turns out he didn't like it after all. Xiaoyu had fallen asleep again. He thought back to how Xiaoyu had gotten up early this morning to make him lunch, and his heart felt fuzzy and warm. He couldn't help but reach over to pet the fish. He did this when he was reading in the manor as well, so Prince Jing didn't think it was a big deal. Xiaoyu blew a bubble. Even though he was sleeping, his tail still drifted over to wrap around his finger, though a little hazily. Sorry, my body's being silly. Prince Jing couldn't help but smile. Prince Jing, Zheng Jing, who worked in the same room, had already witnessed everything, coughed awkwardly. Prince Jing looked up at Zheng Jing with his deep gaze. Zheng Jing considered his words carefully. They keep missing a space and then putting a space in and skipping a space. I'm very confused. No, you know what? Let's not think about it. We're not thinking about it. I did it carefully and urged him quietly. Prince Jing, you can't pet your fish on the clock. A stupid rule. That was me. Prince Jing glared at Zheng Jing coldly, then went back to studying the blueprint. He had a habit of writing down notes while he was reading. When there was something he was confused about, he didn't try to ask Zheng Jing immediately. He just made a note. Since he couldn't speak, asking would take a long time. His productivity would go down if he had to constantly interrupt his line of thought and then pick it back up again like that. So Prince Jing read through the whole blueprint first, then collected all his questions for Zheng Jing at the end. Zheng Jing glanced over at Prince Jing every once in a while. He was quite surprised at the prince's patience. When he had to take responsibility and remind Prince Jing not to pet his fish, he'd clearly offended Prince Jing. If the prince really wanted to treat him rudely because of it, Zheng Jing would have to take it, because after all, His Highness was a prince, and he was just a subject. But Zheng Jing didn't regret it. This was just how he was. He wanted to get along with Prince Jing, but when it came to work, he wouldn't make exceptions for anybody. Zheng Jing disapproved of Prince Jing petting his fish. Aside from helping Prince Jing, the Emperor had given him another job. He had to report back on how Prince Jing was doing in the Ministry of Works. Zheng Jing had already planned out what he was going to say. Ooh, my brain glitched for a second. Zheng Jing had already planned out what he was going to say, prepared to ask the Emperor for his forgiveness. That sentence didn't make sense in my brain. But that might just be me. He didn't think Prince Jing was suitable for this job. Oh! Prince Jing had brought his pet fish to the Ministry of Works, a clear sign that the prince wasn't taking this job seriously. Wasting time petting his fish was also definitive proof Prince Jing wasn't really completing his work, Zheng Jing thought. Have you ever thought that maybe a guy needs a dopamine boost every once in a while? Maybe that's the way his brain is wired? But after Prince Jing was done with the blueprint, he thrust a bunch of notes at him. When Zheng Jing looked at the dense writing, he was shocked. All the questions Prince Jing had written down were extremely perceptive. After only a single round of questions, Lord Jing was sweating bullets. Before, he was a little worried because he was afraid Prince Jing might have just come here to mess around. Now he was sweating because he was afraid he wouldn't be able to answer Prince Jing's questions. I'm excited for him. Zheng Jing couldn't help but recall how the third prince had also been assigned to the Ministry of Works a few years ago. But the Ministry of Works dealt with a bunch of construction workers day in and day out. The third prince thought it was both dirty and not very respectable, so he was very unhappy. It was called a job, but he just drank tea at the Ministry of Works for a few days. In the end, the Minister of Works wrote to the Emperor, telling him delicately that the third prince was not suited for this job. As a result, the Emperor moved the third prince elsewhere. In comparison, although Prince Jing's personality was a little odd, and he liked to pet fish, just based on how he could sit down, and he liked to pet... In comparison, although Prince Jing's personality was a little bit odd, and he liked to pet fish, just based on how he could sit down and concentrate on the blueprint, he was already leagues ahead of the other princes. I'm kind of loving this workplace situation thing going on. I think it's cute. I think it's really cute, and I kind of love it. I think if Prince Jing, if he gets like really good at this job, I'm gonna be so happy for him. What if he just loves working here? I don't know. Zheng Jing's opinion of Prince Jing had changed. He decided not to write to the Emperor to say Prince Jing wasn't suitable, after all. He even thought it was a pity Prince Jing couldn't talk. With this kind of attitude, Prince Jing was someone who could settle down and accomplish something. It was a shame. Okay? Your Highness, Zheng Jing said gently, if you have any questions in the future, don't hesitate to ask me. If I can't answer it, you can ask the minister. Prince Jing nodded. Since he was done with the blueprint, he could play with his fish now. Sorry, he's so dumb. I fucking bumped my whole desk. It's fine. I just need to lower my chair a little. I have a big old plush on my lap for comfortability, but at the same time, it is a little bit inconvenient. Where was I? This book is so silly. Oh yeah, I can play with this fish now. Despite Zheng Jing's piercing gaze, Prince Jing put the fish into a lotus bowl he brought along and started really petting the fish in earnest. Zheng Jing truly didn't know what to say. You and me both, King. At lunchtime, Prince Jing opened his huge pack and took... oh my god, I can't speak. He's so stupid. At lunchtime, Prince Jing opened his huge pack and took out an equally huge food box. There were 3 large bowls inside. Oh boy. Prince Jing opened each bowl. Zheng Jing, who sat not far away, saw a bowl of burnt rice, a bowl of dark, black stuff that he couldn't identify, and another bowl of what looked like soft wilted cucumber. 'Cause of course it is. Interested, he asked, Your Highness, what manner of cuisine did you bring? As soon as he said it, he realized no one would pick up a brush while eating. There was no way Prince Jing would respond. He might even be upset. But Prince Jing was in a good mood. Not only was he not upset, he even took out 2 pieces of paper from his sleeve and handed them to Zheng Jing. What? When did Prince Jing prepare these pieces of paper? Did he know he would ask? There were 2 dishes, 1 paper for each. He had written them down previously. Oh, God. Zheng Jing read the notes that said, minced meat and eggplant made by my boyfriend, and smashed cucumber made by my boyfriend. This is a joke. This sounds like some D&D bullshit at this point. I'm sorry, I'm on a D&D brain rot. Spiel. I don't know. It sounds like some... Oh my god. It's just so ridiculous. Ah, so the thing he couldn't identify was minced meat eggplant. Were there really eggplants as black as coal? Jing refused to comment on the future consort's cooking skills. But not only had Prince Jing prepared the notes ready to introduce his boyfriend's cooking at any time, he even ate all 3 bowls without batting an eye. Jing, after witnessing this display of affection, said, "Your Highness certainly has a good relationship with your consort." Prince Jing dipped his hand slightly into the bottle, nodding subtly as he touched the little carp's slippery back. The fish, who had woken up from his nap, was quite delighted. Oh, was he praising him? He'd gotten up early this morning to make both dishes, and he also made the rice, although the eggplant had turned black for some reason. And the rice got a little burnt. It should still taste all right. And the smashed cucumber, Prince Jing's favorite. Someday, Prince Jing is gonna... He's just not gonna be able to take it at some point. He's gonna be having been poisoned for years and years by this fish. He's gonna just keel over and die, maybe. Possibly. Probably. Liu suddenly thought he should actually taste his own cooking. Maybe there'd been a huge improvement. While Jing wasn't paying attention, he swam quietly to the opening of the bottle. Prince Jing's bowls weren't too far away. Liu decided to try and steal a piece of eggplant from Prince Jing's bowl. It was a vegetable, so a fish could eat it, right? Prince Jing was well aware of the particular flavor of these dishes. Afraid that Xiao Yu would be shocked by the taste, he hurriedly ate all the eggplant in the bowl, as well as all the cucumber. He didn't even leave behind a single grain of rice. Liu was ecstatic. His cooking must have really improved. Otherwise, why would Prince Jing eat it all so fast and not let him have any? He started to think about the other dishes. He was such a useful boyfriend. He couldn't help Prince Jing when it came to the blueprints, but he could help Prince Jing by cooking for him. The fish finally calmed down, and Prince Jing, unaware that increasingly cursed bentos were waiting for him in the future, sighed in relief. The news of the Emperor ordering Prince Jing to begin working eventually made its way to the third prince, making him a little restless. Mu Tianming had asked a few officials to ask the Emperor to forgive him and give him something to do, but instead the Emperor ignored the request and went to Prince Jing. What could a mute do? The Emperor would rather rely on a mute than him? It's fine, I'm fine. It's fine. But no matter how displeased Mu Tianming was, he couldn't act on impulse. The Emperor clearly wasn't happy with him right now. Both his injuries and those of the Sixth Prince were mostly recovered by now. The Emperor had let the Sixth Prince go already. But Mu Tianming still had to go study every day and write down the classic of filial piety. He was burning with anxiety. If he continued like this, how was he going to reassure the officials who were on his side? Can't. So sad. Going to slow down, brain. Going to the imperial study room every day, he could tell the Emperor was already starting to train the 2 young princes. Even their previous teacher had been swapped out for the Emperor's own teacher. The Emperor was so biased he was ranking him behind those 2 young princes and Prince Jing. Mu Tianming couldn't take it anymore. He complained to the Sixth Prince, who had come to visit. "Brother, don't forget what happened to you last time," Mu Tianxiao reminded him in a gentle voice. "You should calm down first. Father wants to see your attitude improve. If you don't make any more mistakes, Father won't ignore you for long. Don't worry, you still have me. I'll keep an eye out for you." Mu Tianming cheered up immediately. Oh, not immediately, immensely. The Sixth Prince was right. Besides, the Sixth Prince had been with him for many years now and was extremely trustworthy. Last time he had chose not to listen to the Sixth Prince, he had suffered a huge setback, which only made the Third Prince trust the Sixth Prince even more. I feel a lot better with you here, said Mu Tianming. I can give you authority over a large portion of my people. Help me take care of things. Mu Tianming took out a token of... What is going on? Mu Tianming took out a token representing his authority, hesitated for a moment, and handed it to the Sixth Prince. The Sixth Prince accepted it. No matter how much he wanted this, he couldn't let it show on his face. He thanked the Third Prince evenly, saying that he appreciated the opportunity and would do anything he could to repay this honor. Putting away the token, the Sixth Prince walked out calmly under the Third Prince's watchful eye. After leaving the manor, Mu Tianzhao looked up at the sky, his mood soaring. He knew the heavy clouds above his head were about to dissipate. Once he had all of the Third Prince's people in his control, he could finally stop hiding. The fuck does that mean? That's the end of the chapter. God, they're so gross. The next chapter is called Fishy Love Letters. Fishy Love Letters. Chapter 66. I need to go feed the dogs. I will be right back, and then we can read whatever the fuck Fishy Love Letters means. It's on page 289. That's great. I'll be right back. Stupid fucking book. Alright, hello, I am back. I am back. Isn't that so special? Fishy, what do we leave off of? Fish love letters or some shit? Ridiculous. Fishy love letters, yep, that is what we did. Stop it! Oh my god. The fuck is wrong with you? You can't just say shit like that. Oh my god. Okay, that's fine. Nobody look at the chat right now. If you don't want to be scarred, don't look at the chat right now. But anyway, I'm back. I have more tea. Dogs are fed. We're good. Let's go. Oh boy. Fishy Love Letters, Chapter 66. Ugh. Now that he'd received Mu Tianming's token, Token, not with a L. Anyway, Mu Tianchao didn't keep his promise and Mu Tianchao didn't keep his promise and helped the third prince take care of his business. Instead, he took care of himself. His injuries from being beaten. What the fuck is wrong with my brain right now? Okay, his injuries from the beating he had. His injuries from the beating had healed. Don't know why that was so difficult to say. Mu Tianzhao was going to the palace to pay his respects to the emperor. Rain or shine, everything was a gift when it came from the emperor. Even if the emperor had punished him, he had to smile and thank him anyway. The emperor met with the sixth prince. The imperial guards' investigation had revealed that the third prince was just using the sixth prince, and he wasn't the main conspirator. But the emperor still disliked Mu Tianchao and treated him coldly. He was like an invisible person. I swear to God, I always forget to run an ad before I come back. I apologize. We're gonna stall for a little bit while this ad runs. This every fucking time. It's always right after I take my break. Anyway, how's your day going? I don't know, you probably can't hear me, but we're just gonna stall for a couple of seconds for this to run. If it would fucking run already. Go. Why are you waiting? Go. I got like a tiny bit of rope burn from tying skates because my friend's skates were round laces instead of like flat laces, because I got them hockey skates because they wanted to go skating. They're like, oh yeah, let's go skating, yippee. They can skate, but they don't like skate. But I already had my hockey skates. So anyway, I got a tiny bit of rope burn on my fingers. And then I just remembered how I had I'm pretty sure I've had calluses on my fingers from tying skates when I was younger. That was so fun. That's so sexy of me. What the hell? I want calluses on my fingers again. I only have the normal one. Actually, give me 1 second. It's so stupid. I have to lock the door. I'll be right back. Like literally just stepping. Couple of steps. Wow. Okay. Okay, seriously, we can read now. Sorry. He was like an invisible person to the emperor. He'd only started appearing before the emperor recently because he was following the third prince. He'd long since gotten used to the emperor's cold attitude and responded in turn with respect. After thanking the emperor, Mu Tianzhao said that he had planned to give Prince Jing an extravagant gift with the excuse that he felt bad for the whole fake monk thing and wanted to apologize. Because the emperor knew the whole situation, Mu Tianzhao wanted to run it past him first and have him look over the gift list. Recalling how the second prince had done something similar not long ago, the emperor's gaze turned suspicious, but he still ended up looking at the list. It was a set of ink, brush, paper, and inkstone, and as well as some calligraphy and paintings, though they were not anything famous. Sorry, I need to cover you guys a little bit because it's a little distracting. Just walking around. Where was I? The emperor suddenly recalled that the sixth prince's mother, Consort Jiang, had been Empress Xiaohui's servant. After Empress Xiaohui passed away, Consort Jiang remained in Changchun Palace. She'd only been given the lowly status of second-class attendant after the emperor had shown favor to her one drunken night. Gross. Just from that night, Consort Jiang became pregnant with the sixth prince. She'd only ascended to the consort rank once the sixth prince became an adult. Consort Jiang didn't come from an influential family who could... Boy, oh boy, am I having difficulties today. Consort Jiang didn't come from an influential family who could back them, so the sixth prince ended up the poorest of all the princes. The rewards he normally received were just the standard ones given during the holidays and the New Year. Things had only gotten a little better for him since he'd been following the third prince these last few years. The emperor couldn't quite work out what he was feeling, but he felt that the sixth prince had at least put some thought into these gifts, so he nodded and allowed the sixth prince to go ahead. But he thought about it and decided to mention ahead of time, "If Prince Jing doesn't want to see you, you must not disturb him." He was afraid the sixth prince would bring Prince Jing trouble because he had committed such egregious deeds in the past. Mu Tianzhao smiled. "Father, please rest assured, I will leave as soon as I set the gifts down. I won't bother fifth brother." Mu Tianzhao bowed and then left. The moment he turned around, his smile seemed to freeze over. Uh-oh, dun dun dun! That's a scene break, weirdly enough. Anyway, every day Liu went to work with Prince Jing. Then every night he had to keep up with his relationship. He'd been keeping up with the schedule for several days now, and although he was a fish for most of it, he was still exhausted. He was sure they had to be inseparable by now, but the quest wasn't updating. The fish scamming system was scamming him once again. He'd clearly already kissed Prince Jing with tongue. Prince Jing brought him so stupid. Prince Jing brought him to and from work and petted him whenever he got the chance. Didn't that count as inseparable? The quest is determined by the user and the Tyrant's relationship, the system explained. As of now, your relationship hasn't developed since the indulging quest. We're already boyfriends and he takes me to work. Doesn't that count as a deeper relationship? This is ancient China. The concept of boyfriends doesn't exist. Additionally, the Tyrant was already in the habit of carrying his pet fish around everywhere, so that didn't count either. ... Makes sense. Was he supposed to say any... Made sense. What was he supposed to say to that? Prince Jing had always doted on the fish. Did that mean it was harder for him to complete his quests now? But if boyfriends didn't count, what was he supposed to do? Was he supposed to marry Prince Jing on the spot? Getting married is one way, the system replied. Liu scoffed coldly. He should have known the system was going to start scamming him again, now that he was continuing his quests. He wanted to turn back into human. If he didn't, he'd be in constant danger of Prince Jing finding out his secret. That was the reason he'd laid down those rules with Prince Jing in the first place. He'd hoped he could date Prince Jing while completing his quests, but the fish scamming system wouldn't let him complete the missions just as boyfriends. If he couldn't complete these quests, then he couldn't become human. If he couldn't become human, then he couldn't properly date Prince Jing. How was the relationship supposed to develop? So he was still blocked from progressing with his tasks. He was stuck in an endless loop. A light bulb went off in Liu's head. He figured it out. The system was once again trying to ship him and Prince Jing. He just hadn't thought that far ahead. What? What? What is wrong with this guy? Hang on, I need to put my hair up better. Just a little, get it out of my face a little more. He and Prince Jing had only just started to shyly hold hands like a regular couple, and they even blushed when they kissed. Liu couldn't imagine suddenly getting married. He wanted to be with Prince Jing purely because he liked him. It wasn't because he was a prince or would later become the emperor. Due to Prince Jing's current and future status, he couldn't get married just willy-nilly. In the book, after Prince Jing ascended to the throne, despite all the officials' objections, he was adamant about Chu Yuanyu being the empress. The entire censorate was on their knees, but no one was able to convince him. In the end, Chu Yuanyu promised he would only ever be a consort and never the empress. Chu Yuanyu promising he would only ever be a consort and never the empress was what won the officials over. But for love of him, Prince Jing never picked an empress. As a result, Chu Yuanyu remained a consort in name, but was treated and honored like an empress. But Prince Jing still needed an heir, so Chu Yuanyu generously found him some consorts. In the original story, Prince Jing was furious over this, which made Chu Yuanyu feel unappreciated. What the hell? I want to read this story. This guy's gonna get pregnant, isn't he? Oh, I hope so. Not even gonna lie, I hope so. I love Mpreg. I want him to. Yeah, you know. Where were we? I got thrown off by Mpreg, which made me. In the past, when he was reading the novel, Liu had felt like the delicate little concubine was finally doing something for Prince Jing's sake. For once, after spending his whole life tricking him. But now that he was the one who was dating Prince Jing, he no longer thought that way. In the book, Chu Yuanyu didn't want to be the empress and even urged Prince Jing to take on more consorts. It seemed like he was thinking of the greater good, but one could also interpret this as Chu Yuanyu not caring who was with Prince Jing. In other words, he didn't love Prince Jing as much as Prince Jing loved him. Perhaps Prince Jing had gotten mad because he realized, to Chu Yuanyu, he could never compare to the dead sixth prince. That was how love was. Whoever fell first lost. What? Oh. What the hell? Prince Jing, who had become a tyrant, could kill the entire world to claim it for himself, but he couldn't kill Chu Yuanyu to claim his heart. At the end of the book, after many years, Chu Yuanyu finally started falling for Prince Jing. The tragic love story ended on such an absurd note. When Liu thought of this ending, he felt a little uncomfortable. He really felt bad for Prince Jing in the book. After ascending to the throne, the tyrant had the entire world, but he didn't have a single person who cared for him wholeheartedly. Even though the delicate little concubine was right next to him all along, he didn't care for Prince Jing for a long time. Prince Jing, who towered above everyone on the throne, had always been very lonely, but in this world, it was no longer possible for Chu Yuanyu and Prince Jing to get together. Liu felt bad for Prince Jing, but did that mean it was up to him to change everything? Then would Prince Jing take him as a consort? Would he become the empress after Prince Jing rose to the throne? Then was he the fish consort? The fish empress? This guy. When people had called Liu consort before, it made him uneasy. Empress was a much heavier title. He didn't know if he could carry it with his little fish body. He was willing to help Prince Jing take the throne, but that was a different matter than becoming a consort or empress. When he imagined being dressed up like a noble consort waiting all alone in his palace for Prince Jing to pay him some attention, goosebumps erupted all over his skin. Never mind, there was no point on dwelling on it so much. He and Prince Jing had only just begun. Who knew what would happen in the future? They were just dating, so there was no need to make things too complicated between the two of them. Marriage was the kind of thing they should only consider when they could both view the relationship with a mature state of mind. 18-year-old Liu thought, as though he were an old man. But after considering all this, he was still affected. When he transformed to see Prince Jing, he was a little down. Prince Jing had always been observant. He immediately noticed that Xiao Yu's mood was not as cheerful as usual. I do wonder, though, since he can only transform once per day, how is he making breakfast or lunch and also greeting him when he gets home? I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. Plot hole. Whatever. He really looked forward to seeing human Xiao Yu every day. Recently, he'd been busy with work during the day. Though Xiao Yu was with him, there were others there, so they couldn't act too close. It wasn't that Prince Jing feared Zheng Jing. Rather, he couldn't let Zheng Jing find out about the carp spirit, so he really only had the time after work to spend with Xiao Yu. For those 2 hours, Prince Jing didn't want Xiao Yu to be sad about anything. If there was anything bothering Xiao Yu, he would solve it himself. What's wrong? Prince Jing seemed to ask while holding Liu's hand. Liu pursed his lips. He couldn't mention the original book or becoming the empress, but Prince Jing's careful gaze carried the weight of his care for him. Liu could feel it clearly. It seemed Prince Jing was the first to fall in love this time as well. Thinking of the confession carved into the walls of the manor, Liu started to feel bad for Prince Jing again. No matter what, he'd decided privately he'd never let Prince Jing be alone again. After he had agreed to Liu's rules, Prince Jing never tried to ask Liu about the things he didn't want to talk about. He approached Liu and held him in his arms so Liu could lean against him. Slowly, Liu relaxed. Liu blinked. These last few days, he'd gradually started to recognize the patterns in Prince Jing's behavior. For example, when Prince Jing hugged him, that usually meant he wanted a kiss. Prince Jing really liked to kiss him, and Liu liked to wait for his kiss, smiling then returning it. He didn't know if all new couples were as clingy as this, but they both liked it. I'm gonna throw up. They're so... This time, though, Prince Jing didn't kiss him. He pulled out a note from his sleeve and handed it to Liu. Prince Jing rarely prepared notes ahead of time to communicate with other people. He usually wrote things down at the time. After he started dating Liu, though, he began to cherish every moment they had together, so he'd come up with this method as a compromise to avoid wasting precious time on writing. If he had something to say, it made sense to write it down when he was alone, then give it to Xiao Yu later. Liu accepted the note and looked at it excitedly. The note was already a little worn around the edges, and the sentence written on it was in Prince Jing's handwriting. I like you. This wasn't the first time Liu had been confessed to, but he was still delighted. Your Highness wrote this a long time ago, right? Otherwise, why would the note be in such a state? And he hid it specifically so he could take it out to make Liu happy. He cared for him so meticulously that it was a little scary. Prince Jing nodded, but didn't mention that he'd written this back when Xiao Yu was angry with him and avoiding him. At the time, he wanted to show it to Xiao Yu at an opportune moment, but he never got around to using it. Now was the perfect time. Prince Jing's comforting made Liu feel a lot better, and he started to become curious instead. Prince Jing had notes to cheer him up and to show off to Zheng Jing. Could there be others too? Liu put his hands on his hips like a bandit and smiled brightly. Your Highness, how many more of these notes? Your Highness, you have many more of these notes, don't you? It was unusual to see Prince Jing so hesitant. He glanced at Liu, then looked away quickly. Oh, from the looks of this expression, there's clearly something going on. I want to see it. Liu was now very close. That was in his head. Liu was now very close to Prince Jing. He smirked, then reached both hands into Prince Jing's sleeves, hugging him. Prince Jing couldn't evade him. In a flash of awkwardness, Liu suddenly thought of the time... I was thinking it too. Oh, I think we were all thinking it. In a flash of awkwardness, Liu suddenly thought of the time he'd bitten Prince Jing's nipple. Thank goodness, Prince Jing didn't know he was the fish. Oh my god. Prince Jing, meanwhile, hesitated. He'd also remembered the time the fish bit his nipple, and he was a bit flustered. The two of them... I can't continue on with that. We need to sit with that for a little. The two of them each had their own thoughts. Liu's eyes shone brightly as he pulled out a bunch of notes from Prince Jing's sleeves. Shocked, he said, Your Highness, you wrote this many? Prince Jing looked at him with a gentle gaze. Liu randomly grabbed one and read, The food tastes very good. Try not to tire yourself out. He thought about it carefully. This must be what Prince Jing wanted to say when Liu handed him his lunch, but because they had so little time to spend together, Prince Jing didn't let him know what he was thinking most of the time. He must have written it down after the fact. With emotion swirling in his chest, Liu read all the notes and recalled many of the little things that happened between them. It turned out that despite Prince Jing's cold exterior, his heart was always warm towards Liu. The last note was even more tattered. It was almost worn out. Prince Jing's expression was suddenly extremely complicated. After a brief internal struggle, he actually tried to snatch it back from him. Liu realized something must be up, so of course the curious fish chose to open it up and see. He thought there'd be some kind of cringy pickup line, but instead it was, I want to absorb essence. Now what am I supposed to say to that? That is the end of the chapter. That is how that chapter ends. This book... so stupid! It's so stupid! I love it so much. It's so stupid, it's so silly. Sorry for my S's. I know they're quite harsh, but I have a tiny little gap between my teeth. That makes them whistle. Whistle! Anyway, that's the end of the chapter. Next chapter is called The Fish Was Hard to Cast Out. I have no idea what that means, but I guess we'll find out right now. Oh my god, on page 299. Exactly 10 pages. 10? Was it 10? Was it 20? Wait, what? Yeah, the last one was 8. Why are these all, like, almost exactly 10 pages? That's crazy. Let me just see how long this chapter is. It is, like, the end of the day for me, so my neck is hurting a little. But I think we can get through another chapter. Alright, the fish was hard to cast out. Absorb essence? Liu wasn't quite sure, so he asked quietly, slowly, Your Highness, what does this mean? Prince Jing had first written the note because he wanted to express his own emotions. He never thought Liu would get his hands on it. Now that his secret was revealed to Xiao Yu, he was most worried that Xiao Yu would work out that he already knew the carp spirit's identity. Prince Jing decided to shake his head, expression blank. If we refused to admit it, then all would be fine. Uh-huh. Liu curled his hand into a fist and coughed into it lightly. So, your highness is saying you don't know what this means and has nothing to do with you? Prince Jing hesitated for a moment, then nodded fervently. I know that word. I know it. Liu laughed inside. He and Prince Jing had read a lot of novels together by now. He knew that in the novels, when Yao wanted to absorb essence, it meant they wanted to do various indescribable things to the scholar. Did this mean Prince Jing also wanted to do the sort of things with him? I wonder. What kind of impure thoughts was this asshole's brain full of? And after being found out, he wouldn't even admit it. He never would have thought Prince Jing had such an immature side. Liu cursed Prince Jing out on the inside, but on the outside he smiled and said, You really didn't write this, Your Highness? It's your handwriting. He's being such a bitch. Prince Jing anxiously did his best to communicate that it really wasn't him. Okay, I get it. It wasn't you. Liu tried very hard not to laugh out loud and continued to tease him. Then does your highness know what it means to absorb essence? Liu laughed to himself. This is what you get for taking advantage of me before. How does it feel now? Oh, my God. Asking for mercy, Prince Jing brought out a little golden fish from his sleeve and handed it silently to Liu. Liu liked gold and silver, so Prince Jing had prepared something to keep him happy. This little fish was designed by Prince Jing himself and had been made not long ago. This fish is so cute. Is it for me? Liu was immediately drawn to the little fish, because he has an attention span literally of a goldfish. He happily turned the small golden fish over his hands again and again. It was charming and cute, and its tail was curved. Very cutesy, very demure. Okay. Every part of it looked just like his fish form. There was a braided string attached to the fish's back, and it was in the exact shade of green that Liu liked. Liu touched the string gently and asked, despite already knowing the answer, Where do I hang this? Prince Jing smiled as he wrapped his arms around Liu and hung the little fish on the colorful silk tie around his waist. I'm fine. I am fine. I'm fine. Liu played with the fish at his waist for a while, then looked at Prince Jing with bright eyes. Your Highness, don't change the subject. Tell me what absorbing essence is. Xiao Yu was a little hard to distract. Prince Jing was both happy and frustrated. Prince Jing was struggling to find a way to escape answering Liu's repeated questioning when he was saved by Wang Ji's careful knocking on the door. Wang Ji didn't want to interrupt because his master had requested privacy whenever Li Gongji was visiting, but the sixth prince was here and had already been waiting for a while in Ninghui Hall. Wang Ji knew the second prince had once brought his master harm, so Wang Ji hadn't treated him with the utmost respect. But the sixth prince had said he'd come from the palace, so Wang Ji couldn't make him wait for too long. Your Highness, the sixth prince is here from the palace. He says he's here to apologize. Wang Ji spoke apologetically. He didn't want to, but he'd interrupted his master with Li Gongji again. Li Gongji and his master had a pretty big fight last time. Wang Ji and the rest of the servants had all been worried. Finally, things had blown over, and Wang Ji couldn't wait for the two of them to reconcile. So, were they together now or not? From Wang Ji's silent observation, his master and Li Gongji had already slept in the same bed, and they were always touching and hugging each other, so they must be together now. But then, for a while, all Li Gongji and the master did was converse.
read books, and practice calligraphy. They were both very respectful, and it seemed like perhaps they weren't together after all. After that, Li Gongji ran away because he didn't want to be intimate with Prince Jing, so Prince Jing ordered the walls to be carved with those words that Wang Gonggong was still too embarrassed to look at. But then Li Gongji let the master come close again, so they should be together now, right? Then again, every time the master saw Li Gongji, he'd go take a cold bath. Uh-huh. Li Gongji didn't know about this, but as Prince Jing's closest servant, Wang Ji did. If they were actually together, how could this happen? And so, to this day, Wang Gonggong could only describe his master and Li Gongji's relationship as extremely complicated, seemingly there, but perhaps actually not. Wang Ji had been afraid of disturbing Prince Jing, but after he'd managed to bring himself to interrupt, why did it seem like Prince Jing let out a sigh of relief? Prince Jing patted Liu's hand, ready to go throw the sixpence out. Actually, he was just afraid Xiao Yu would continue asking about essence. He really felt too awkward and couldn't answer, so he wanted to use the sixpence as an excuse to let it blow over. Xiao Yu liked to play, so maybe by the time he came back, he'd stop asking. Your Highness, Oi, burpee. Your Highness, you're going to see the sixpence? As soon as Liu heard the sixpence, his originally teasing manner became nervous. He automatically grabbed Prince Jing's sleeve. The sixpence was Prince Jing's greatest enemy in the original book. Once the second and third princes were no longer in the running, the Emperor began to see the sixpence in a new light. He'd always hidden behind the third prince, ruthless and calculating. Prince Jing had fallen for many of his traps, and because of Chu Yanyu, Prince Jing had nearly died by the sixpence's hands. Even after being thoroughly defeated, he still managed to cause a lot of trouble for Prince Jing. Even if the plot was completely different now, the Six Princes' character traits couldn't have changed much, right? Liu knew the Six Princes' background, but he didn't know how to explain it to Prince Jing. When Ye Qinghuan had been plotted against, Liu said he'd come across the information unexpectedly. It wasn't a particularly good story, but thankfully Prince Jing trusted him and didn't ask too many questions. But if he said the same again when it came to the Sixth Prince, it would be too suspicious. Liu frowned in thought, trying to think of a reason to tell Prince Jing to watch out for the Sixth Prince. Seeing his furrowed brows, Prince Jing reached over and smoothed them out with slightly cold fingertips. Your Highness, if I ask you to be careful of the Sixth Prince... Prince Jing was so gentle, Liu just blurted it out. Prince Jing glanced at him and then nodded. Okay. You don't want to ask why? Liu asked. Prince Jing pointed to the wall. Next to the painting of the fish, he'd carefully hung up Liu's rules. He was afraid he'd forget the conditions he'd agreed to, so he put them up there to remind himself. Liu understood. He was trying to say that according to the agreement, Prince Jing had to believe him. If Liu didn't want to say, Prince Jing wouldn't ask. But the agreement only stated that Prince Jing couldn't ask where he was going. He didn't expect Prince Jing to extend that to anything he didn't want to talk about. Wasn't that a good thing? It was good. Very good. This was the best possible outcome. Liu felt reassured, but he still felt like he had to give some sort of reason. Your Highness, the Sixth Prince has harmed you before. Please don't trust him. Liu didn't know why the Sixth Prince was visiting, but still it was better to be safe than sorry. Prince Jing nodded. He touched Liu's face, smiling, asking him not to worry. Then he left with Wang Ji. Liu didn't go with them. Partially because he didn't want to show up in front of the Sixth Prince, and partially because he was afraid he didn't have much time left. He decided to wait for Prince Jing in his room instead. Prince Jing's note was still there. He hadn't taken away the evidence. Liu observed the bold, vigorous brushstrokes on his own. They were both men, so he could understand how Prince Jing was feeling. Okay. Though Prince Jing had certain thoughts towards him, he hadn't done anything due to their agreement. At most, he'd say a few flirtatious things on paper. His Highness was so good to him, he couldn't let someone like that go. As Liu thought this, the corners of his lips raised mischievously. Oh boy. Oh boy. The sixth prince waited for a long time before Prince Jing finally came out to see him. Mu Tianzhao approached, wanting to say a few customary pleasantries, but Prince Jing only glanced at his gifts, nodded coldly, and prepared to chase his guest out. He didn't even have any intention of asking the sixth prince to sit. Mu Tianzhao rubbed his nose and said gently, "I've offended you. I hope you can forgive me, brother." Mu Tianzhao didn't mention the third prince at all. He'd only come for his own sake anyway. The sixth prince was apologizing to Prince Jing, but the third prince hadn't. The difference between them was clear. Mu Tianzhao wanted to get rid of the third prince as soon as possible. The biggest obstacle between him and the throne had never been the arrogant second prince or the third prince, who he had in the palm of his hand. Is that meant to... Wait, I'm confused. Okay. Fifth brother, I was deceived before, and I nearly had a misunderstanding with you and your fish. The topic suddenly changed. I heard fifth brother loves this fish so much you take it around with you everywhere. Why don't I see it now? Mu Tianzhao thought there was something up with Prince Jing's fish, and he wanted to probe a little bit. Prince Jing glanced at Wang Ji with a stiff expression. Wang Gonggong immediately responded, "Fifth Prince, His Highness's fish is very precious. It doesn't like to visit irrelevant people. Speak up, Wang Gonggong." Oh my god. Mu Tianzhao was randomly slapped in the face by a fish who wasn't even present. Mu Tianzhao wanted to keep asking questions, but Prince Jing didn't have the patience to listen to him. Since he came to apologize, shouldn't he leave after putting the things down? The sixth prince didn't even get a sip of hot tea. Prince Jing gave Wang Ji another glance, wanting him to see the guest out. My king Wang Gonggong, yeah. He slays so much. Unbelievable, thought Mu Tianzhao. He bade Prince Jing farewell and left Ninghui Hall. When he was almost out of the manor, someone with disheveled hair threw themselves at him. Oh my god. This poor boy. Mu Tianzhao threw themselves at him. Your Highness, they sobbed as they threw themselves into Mu Tianzhao's arms. Mu Tianzhao's first instinct was to push them away, thinking they were part of some plan by Prince Jing. But when this person looked up, face tear-stricken, Mu Tianzhao was shocked. "Does your Highness not recognize me anymore?" he cried. Are you... Mu Tianzhao could not believe that this person before him, with his ashen complexion and eyes swollen as peaches, was Chu Yanyu, who used to be so bright and open. If he didn't still look somewhat similar, Mu Tianzhao would never have recognized him. How did you come to be in this state?" It was very hard for Mu Tianzhao to contact Chu Yanyu. It got harder and harder each time he tried to send a note to Prince Jing's manor. Chu Yanyu had only mentioned briefly that Prince Jing barely showed him any attention, but Mu Tianzhao never expected this. Chu Yanyu bit his lip, crying without answering. He didn't know how to tell the sixth prince that Prince Jing had never even looked him in the eye. He had failed to drug Prince Jing in the end. He was the one who had been drugged. This is true. Nobody defiled him. He was tied up, unable to move. He screamed and cried, losing his mind, trying all he could to get relief. He couldn't have been in a sorrier state. He was tied up for 3 days before the drug finally subsided, but his body was ruined. Even worse, everyone in Qingxi Garden had heard his mindless screaming. Now they looked at him with blatant contempt. I don't like this. I don't like this part. Can we skip this part? Can we skip this part? Chu Yanyu forced himself not to think about those memories as he knelt before the sixth prince. Your Highness, I really can't stay at Prince Jing's manor any longer. Please take me back. He didn't want to stay in Qingxi Garden in Prince Jing's manor anymore. He never wanted to see Prince Jing again. Now that the sixth prince was here, he liked the sixth prince, and the sixth prince liked him back. He still wanted to be with the sixth prince. Oh boy. In the past, if Mu Tianzhao had been faced with such a weeping beauty, he definitely would have comforted him gently. But this was Prince Jing's manor. Mu Tianzhao was afraid this was part of Prince Jing's plans. As he scanned their surroundings, he thought there were I hate him. He thought there were eyes all around him. Chu Yanyu's appearance shocked him. Mu Tianzhao worried that Prince Jing had created the scene to reveal that he and Chu Yanyu were involved. He'd only just felt a glimmer of hope that the emperor might value him. He couldn't let Chu Yanyu ruin his reputation now. He had to distance himself from Chu Yanyu. Chu Gongji, you and I have never met. Fucking God. As you have entered my brother's manor, you belong to him. Why are you saying all this to me? Mu Tianzhao yelled loudly, pretending to be angry as he pushed Chu Yanyu away. If you continue like this, don't blame me for what will come after. Oh, I'm gonna kill this guy. The sixth prince ruthlessly slapped Chu Yanyu in the face, then turned to leave with a wave of his sleeve. Fucking bitches. Oh my god. Chu Yanyu had barely managed to sneak out because he heard the sixth prince was coming. He never thought the sixth prince, who'd always cared for him the most, would hit him. That slap left Chu Yanyu completely dazed, and he heard the sound of his heart shattering. Prince Jing watched all of this silently from a distance. I'm gonna kill him! Your Highness, this... Wang Ji was afraid to speak up. His Highness had never cared about Chu Yanyu, but why did he ask him to lead Chu Yanyu to the sixth prince this time? The sixth prince had hit Chu Yanyu, but from Chu Yanyu's reaction he could tell that the two of them definitely knew each other. Prince Jing glanced at him. Wang Ji understood his master wanted him to continue as ordered, so he nodded and got busy. Because of this, Prince Jing was delayed in getting back to Xiaoyu. He walked faster. Are we gonna do such a major tone switch again? We're just oh boy. Okay, let's just pause for a second before the next thing that happens. I caught a glimpse of it at judging by the last sentence we got of Li Yu. This is gonna be absolutely ridiculous. Thank you, author. Yeah. Really. Oh boy. The room was dark. Half of the candles were extinguished, leaving only a dim, warm light by the bed. There was no one by the bed or in the room. Xiaoyu had probably transformed already. Prince Jing was very frustrated. Perhaps he shouldn't have tried to confirm the relationship between Chu Yanyu and the sixth prince. When Prince Jing saw Chu Yanyu and the sixth prince, a weird feeling welled up in his heart. He didn't know why he felt a flicker of gratification. That is not the word I was hoping for. When Chu Yanyu was hit. But it was a shame he couldn't see Xiaoyu again. He'd probably have to wait until tomorrow. As this disappointing thought crossed his mind, though, the tightly shut curtains around the bed twitched open, and Xiaoyu poked his head out, rubbing his eyes blearily. Your Highness, you took so long to get back, I'm about to fall asleep, he giggled. He giggled. He fucking giggled. Prince Jing was surprised and delighted. He stared at Liu unblinkingly. The youth got up, pulling his robe up around his shoulders. He turned up one of the oil lamps by the bed to make it brighter, and also brightened the only hint of warmth in Prince Jing's heart. Your Highness, you... Liu blushed, a little sneakiness creeping in behind his shyness. You still haven't told me what absorbing essence is. That is the end of the chapter. And that is also where we are ending today. I know it's not gonna happen, or at least it's not gonna be explicit, because this book is not rated 16 and up, but you know, it's still something, you know. Tone switch from tragedy to sex. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I can't. I relate to that, honestly. I don't know how to explain it. But you know, you're just depressed as hell, and you just go on AM3 and read smut. What can I say? This is how we cope. Exactly, you get it. You get it. That is wild. But yeah, that's where we're ending off today. Thankfully, we don't even have to wait a full day. Well, I guess it is a full day, like 24 hours or whatever. But we will come back tomorrow to read the next chapter, which is called Fishy Reads a Novel, which is not sex. So I don't know what's going on there. But that's it. That's what that is. What the fuck is this? Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. I think we only have like a few more reading sessions so far. Let's see, we're on chapter 68-ish. 68. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe. I think the last stream will be like 5 chapters. But yeah, that's that. I am trying to get this, like, the reason I didn't just postpone to Monday is because I do want to finish this book before my read debut. Yay! Which I'm planning, and I haven't announced a date yet, but I know the date in my heart, so, you know, just know that it's after we finish the book, I guess. But yeah, that's just what's happening. I don't really have any other streams to talk about this with because I'm not doing Wednesday streams. Recently I haven't been doing Wednesday streams, and I don't think I will be doing one this week either because it is pain week of the month. If you know, you know. And I have, I'm anticipating a quite a painful day on Wednesday. But yeah, that's what we're doing. I don't know, new things happening. Also, what the hell are we gonna read after this? I don't know. What are we doing? What are we doing? I have already read all of MXTX's books. I am reading currently Urha. It's great, amazing, I love it. So I need a different book to start after this. Oh man. I know Thousand Autumns is pretty good. I have no idea what it's about, really, but it is quite long, so we might have to section that out a bit. If we do go with that, or what? I don't know. I don't know. Think of books. Think of books. Maybe I'll do a poll or something. But yes, that is that. That is that, and I will see you later. What the fuck? Okay, sorry, I just found something that I thought was lost, but then I actually placed it in a very smart place. But I forgot that I placed it in that very smart place, so it was might as well be lost. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you had a good time. I hope you have a good day, because I'll see you tomorrow, and then I can wish you another good day or week, whatever, tomorrow. So, yeah. I will see you tomorrow.